Whatever your personal feelings about the current G.I. Joe Classified HasLab project, it is objectively true that the HISS tank is an unprecedented success. With over 30 more days to go in the campaign, the project has already surpassed each benchmark, and all 4 add-on tiers have been unlocked. Most impressively, the campaign reached the minimal number of backers to fund in less than 24 hours. On the other hand, the most recent Star Wars The Black Series HasLab project has been an unprecedented failure. Over the course of the campaign, the project hasn't even reached half the necessary backers to fund. So, what is the difference between these two campaigns? Why was one such a success while the other such a failure? I do not believe that G.I. Joe is a more popular franchise than Star Wars. I would suggest that Star Wars overall is the more popular franchise. So, what's the problem here? Let's start with what the G.I. Joe creative team did right. On the top level, they went with an obvious choice. Whether they were listening to fans or just using common sense, the G.I. Joe team did not roll the dice on this one. Yes, there are a few other vehicles they could have chosen that would have worked. I contend, though, that the HISS tank was the safest bet. Fans love Cobra, and of all the iconic Cobra vehicles, the HISS tank is clearly the most straightforward to produce. It is large enough to constitute a HasLab, but not so large that it is hard to imagine how to fit on the shelf. Would a Rattler be cool? Yes, but as a person without limitless space, I would have a hard time figuring out where to put a 6-inch scale airplane. I'm sure many people would have a similar issue. The HISS tank also offers a lot of potential in terms of how many figures it could hold and upgrades to the original design. Working treads, new interior spaces, options for additional weaponry and armor, etc. All in all, the Classified Series HISS tank can hold 5 figures: the driver, gunner, tactician, and 2 more can ride on the back. The next thing they did right might be a point of contention, but I believe it was a smart way to help meet their goal. They lit a proverbial fire under our asses to get this thing funded quickly. And it worked. They offered a new character, based on original concept art that inspires fan participation, as backers will have a chance to vote on the figure's color palette. Moreover, they spoke to many fans' completionism. The HISS Tactician will be a numbered figure. Missing it will leave a gap in the numbering of your collection. If you care about that sort of thing, you might feel compelled to get that box on your shelf. Yes, many people felt like this was a dirty trick. I see their point. However, the plan worked. Lastly, they kept up the momentum. They didn't try to give us a bag of bones or a cardboard cutout. Did some folks have some complaints about some of the tiers? Of course. This is a collector community. One of the tiers could have been a brick of gold and some folks would find a reason to complain about it. However, I would say that each tier added value. You might not love the retro canopy and tread armor, but I guarantee that thousands of others do like it. It does add variety to the display possibilities. More importantly, they kept adding figures, and not just repacks of things we already have. New stuff that we didn't even know we wanted. And to top it all off, they added in something that most of us certainly want: a classic version of Cobra Commander. Unopened, I predict that this figure will eventually go between $100 and $200 on the secondary market. On top of that, it is almost guaranteed that a repainted version of this figure will be released as part of the Walmart Retro Cardback Wave or as a regular release some point down the road. So, everyone will eventually have a chance to get some version of the original Cobra Commander. Now, with all the add-on tiers unlocked, it is only a question of whether they will throw something else on to get another bump or two in the backers, or if they will just leave it as is and take what backers jump on with what is already offered. I happen to believe that we will still get some blast effects at least. To sum this all up, the G.I. Joe creative team is either listening to their fans, our fans themselves, or both. Either way, with what we're seeing with the HasLab project and the figures in general, the G.I. Joe creative team is clearly trying to put out product that collectors really want. Though it is not the point of this video, I think it is worthwhile to note that the most recent Black Series HasLab is not the first to crash and burn. If you're a collector, you probably know about the famously bungled Rancor project. From the initial reveal to the price point to the add-on tiers, this thing was a disaster from day one. To that point, I'd never seen such a tone-deaf campaign. The sad thing is, a lot of people did want the Rancor in their collections. If only the Black Series team would have set the price at $250 or $300 and included the Rancor Keeper from the beginning, the project would have funded easily. One would think that the team would have learned something from their mistakes. Unfortunately, if they did learn anything from this experience, they chose not to apply what they learned the next time around. That brings us to the present. At the time of writing this, the current Black Series HasLab is at 1,385 backers out of a target of 5,000 backers to fund. There are only 6 hours left in the campaign. If this project reaches 5,000 in the next 6 hours, it would be nothing short of a miracle. But why? The answer is simple. It is a $500 lightsaber for a character that nobody has any emotional investment in. Moreover, there are no unlockable tiers to inspire collectors to jump on board. Did the Black Series team honestly believe that people would be so excited about Reva's character that they would be falling over themselves to add this 6-foot-long, $500 lightsaber to their shelves? Have they ever read any comments from any Star Wars fans on any online platform? To bet on Star Wars fans loving a new character is always going to be a foolish bet. Not to say that it doesn't happen. See Mando and Grogu. But it doesn't happen often. If they knew the fan base, they would know going in that betting on Reva would be a risky bet. Fans tuned in to the Obi-Wan Kenobi show for Obi-Wan Kenobi and Darth Vader, not new characters. On top of that, the show at large received mixed reviews from fans. I'm not going to get into it here, but there are numerous valid criticisms of the show from a writing perspective. Not that it's too quote-unquote woke. I do not find those criticisms compelling whatsoever. In fact, I would tune into a show that picks up on Reva's story. Personally, I do not have a problem with the character overall. She could certainly play an interesting and important role in the Star Wars universe, but I digress. Black Series, do you want a successful campaign or not? It looks like not. I'll give you an idea for free right here. You already made a first order TIE fighter. Sales were middling at best. But again, you weren't listening to the fans with that one. Too many people hated the sequels to care about a giant TIE fighter that doesn't fit on their shelves. However, the fans love the original trilogy. An Imperial TIE fighter would have sold like hotcakes. People would have figured out where to put that rather than immediately passing. Now, how about this for an idea? Imperial TIE fighter with working lights, highly detailed, 3 figures, and some other add-ons for $300. That is a successful HasLab. That's the no-brainer HISS tank equivalent for Black Series. And it isn't the only option. People want vehicles and environments for the collections. Here are some more ideas. A high-end Jabba's throne room, carbonite chamber, Emperor's throne room, X-Wing. The list could go on and on. There are so many possibilities, yet they continue to make nonsensical choices or completely drop the ball on things that should work. Personally, I am more of a fan of Star Wars than I am of G.I. Joe. I've watched all the movies more times than I even know. I've watched all the animated series, some more than once. I've even read more Star Wars comics and played more Star Wars video games than G.I. Joe. The main reason I even got a Disney Plus subscription was for Star Wars. I've been collecting Black Series since the original wave in 2013. How, then, is my interest in the toy lines completely reversed at this point? I think it boils down to the level of creative freedom afforded to the teams. I do not have any inside sources at Hasbro, but it appears to me that the Black Series team is shackled by the endless flood of new Star Wars content. It appears to me that rather than serving the fans with the product that they genuinely wanted, they are obligated to release product that goes along with whatever the newest TV show is that month. Yes, Hasbro is releasing some stuff here and there that the fans are looking for. Ayla Secure is coming out. Fans like prequel-era Jedi. They gave us Figure and Dan. And the band. Fans love OT aliens. And second and third tier characters. That said, they've been putting out more and more products directly related to the Disney Plus shows. A new Obi-Wan Kenobi character every Wednesday. About 40,000 versions of Mandalorian. Several characters from Book of Boba Fett. They're already starting with Andor figures with the preview of the SDCC Cassian Andor. Conversely, the G.I. Joe team appears to be free to choose what characters they will produce. The G.I. Joe team is not beholden to any licensing agreements or Disney Plus media, and they have the creative freedom to put a new spin on original characters, and they still serve the fans with 6-inch retro-style characters. Meanwhile, the Black Series team seems to have forgotten about some things they've already started. Maybe Rise of Skywalker was a dud of a movie, but why release one character from that film in a mural box, then never add any more? There needs to be at least a few characters to make the box art make sense. Are we ever going to get any more Episode 1 figures to fill out that mural box collection? Who knows at this point? I might not love it, but I do understand why the toy line would closely follow the newest TV shows. That said, most of the people collecting these have been fans for years. They were kids during the prequel era or the OT era. Yes, we would like some stuff from the new shows, but we really want to fill in the gaps from the movies that made us fans in the first place. Where's Lobot, Skiff Guards, Super Battle Droids, Death Star Gunner, Ki-Adi-Mundi? The MIA list could go on and on. To connect this line of thought back to the topic at hand, when it comes to HasLab, it is essential to speak to the core fan base. If not, they're just leaving money on the table, and in my opinion, weakening the line. To wrap this up, I'll just say that I'm excited for the His Tank. I'm excited for the next G.I. Joe HasLab and all the possibilities for new figures and vehicles. Unbeholden to the endless stream of Disney Plus shows, the G.I. Joe team is doing an excellent job at keeping fans and collectors interested and engaged, even with the incredibly frustrating supply chain issues. I'm hopeful, but not confident, that the Black Series team will figure out how to better serve their fan base despite their obligation to support new media content. Failure after failure isn't a good look. Make it make sense, Black Series.